guys, welcome to Bastion Time. I am your host Bastion. This is Zelda News. Let's get to some Zelda news. The Binding of Link, a very amusing animation. It sort of plops Link down into the video game The Binding of Isaac. If you're not familiar with The Binding of Isaac, it is a game which intentionally is trying to replicate the aesthetic of the very first Legend of Zelda game. Not necessarily the gameplay. The gameplay is similar but pretty different. But the look of it, the way it looks like in the dungeons, how each room is a rectangle and it's a specific view, even down to things like how the items and life hearts are laid out is extremely reminiscent of the original Legend of Zelda. And it has a very dark sort of story. It's kind of a take on the biblical story of Isaac, but like a modern version where a kid's mother is told by God she must kill her son or something like that, so she throws him down into the basement full of all these monsters. And then you just gotta fight your way out of the basement, which is arranged like various rooms from the Legend of Zelda. So anyways, it's interesting to see Link in a Zelda-fied version of The Binding of Isaac, which is already pretty Zelda-fied to begin with. Our next story is about A Link Between Worlds and the fact that as wonderful as the music is in that game, it sounds lush and orchestral. As some people have pointed out, it isn't actually an orchestra. It's not an actual live orchestra. It might take a specific ear to hear the difference, but the reason why that's the case, according to Nintendo, is that they were never at any point going to consider using an actual live orchestra, and the reason for that, they say, is that because it's on a handheld and most people are going to be listening with headphones or through the 3DS's speakers, the reverb created by a live orchestra is a little difficult to get across through those kinds of speakers, I guess. I mean, being somebody who does a lot of stuff with music and fiddles around with the way things sound in order to change their dynamics or their reverb, I feel like that's something that can be edited to fit appropriately on that platform, but I mean, I guess what they're really saying is not that it can't be, but that it's extra work, and why go to that extra work when you can just, right from the get-go, determine what something sounds like, how much reverb it has, by using probably sampled instruments. It's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. It sounds fantastic. I almost at no point thought to myself, hey, that's not a real orchestra, but so they did a good job, I think, and I don't know, it works for me. Anyways, that's it for this episode of Zelda News. See you guys tomorrow for some Nintendo news and more Zelda news. See you then, guys. Bye.